So I got this invasion while co-invading with Pincognito's stream tonight. And it was honestly too good not to make a video about. And additionally, on top of just being a really good invasion, it basically, in my opinion, showcased everything good and bad about the tactic of hard swapping your inventory during invasions. Hard swapping is something of a risky tactic, in my opinion. If you're in your menus, it's going to be harder to reaction roll because you're multitasking. Your attention is divided even more than it usually is in invasions. But on the other hand, hard swapping essentially makes you a much more dynamic build, because on the one hand, if you soft swap, you still have to have the vitality to carry extra stuff, whereas if you hard swap, you only have to have the weight to carry one thing at a time. Additionally, hard swapping makes you just a simply more dangerous and dynamic build. Someone who is expecting a greatsword is not going to suddenly expect a, let's say, dagger in their face, which they cannot reaction roll. If they're trying to reaction roll a greatsword, swapping to a Corvian Great Knife in their face will make them no longer able to do so. Here we see the party is just being very passive and waiting for them to summon all of their members, so we're going to swap to the Grim Sleeper meta, straight sword and crossbow. I'm just going to practice free aiming explosive bolts because I suck at it. I do play on PS4, so I unfortunately do not have the benefit of keyboard and mouse for free aiming. But normally I'd be doing this free aimed, but the host is just not moving at all, so why bother? Why not just lock on and get a free 600 damage on him for whatever reason? Anyway, we're just basically gonna spend a few minutes while there's a very dense party still, before we can thin a few of them out, just harassing them with crossbow bolts. They only do what, 160 damage per shot, but at the same time that is a free 160 damage, and it essentially doesn't cost me anything besides the 300 souls it cost me to buy an exploding bolt. But yeah, while you normally, when you invade, you're a, you call yourself a dark build or a quality build. Essentially, most of the time, most invaders are not a dark build or a quality build. They are a Gale's Greatsword build or a Dark Herald Curved Greatsword build. The ability to hard swap makes you into a true quality or dark build, because you essentially have access to your entire arsenal, your entire inventory at all times, which makes you an extremely dangerous opponent. A large part of Dark Souls 3 PvP is simply counterpicking. So here, for instance, I'm getting chased down by a glaive, split leaf, and I want to be able to poise through that so I don't have to accomplish the delicate task of spacing out a split leaf R1 every single time I want to punish it. So I swap to a greatsword so I can poise through the split leaf and don't have to worry so much about precision. And see, even there with the greatsword, I failed to properly space out that dark four-pronged plow. Now imagine if I had no hyper armor and had to do it every single time I wanted to punish it with a straight sword. Simply a nightmare to work with. But right here is where hard swapping really starts to win the invasion. We first outspace this Great Club R2 because it's not that hard to do, to be entirely honest, on a good connection. Hit R1 3 times because we're expecting him to R1 out of hyper armor, and we're in a position where we won't get punished by the rest of the party for doing so. And then we get a short 1v1 with the glaive man, split leaf man, here in a moment. Just trying to hit him, force him to trade, and there we go. So he rolls backwards once here, taking a closer look at this moment. And then I know he's going to swing at me, so I trade with him. And then I slightly delay my third and fourth swings, because he's not truly reaction rolling, he's expecting another roll catch. And then I hard swap to the Corvian Great Knife so that he can't possibly reaction roll it because it's too fast as a dagger. And then I finally get the kill with the Armor of Thorns kerf roll. And additionally, at the end of that, I swap from Hornet onto Silvercat all the way down. So there we got the utility of three different things. We got the ability to Hornet backstab people. We had the ability to trade with hyper armor. We had the ability to force people to panic roll with a great knife. And we had the ability to fall off high places without taking fall damage, simply because we were in our inventory constantly. Now, we got kind of blundered because we tried to swap with the Corving Great Knife, but at the same time, was it worth it? We managed to kill a Phantom because we hard swapped, essentially. Oh, and not to mention the fact that we swapped to Estus Ring at the bottom of the tower, whatever you want to call it, and got an extra 20% off of our heals. So, another utility you can have just by having the ability to hard swap to anything in your inventory at a moment's notice. Chase down this Phantom here, kill him with a knife after the Kirk roll fails to finish him off because he's got some level of regen going right now. But anyway, chasing down the host now, 2v1, secure a very lucky backstab, accidental pivot essentially. But while we're waiting for him to get up, we can swap to Pontonet Curved Sword, and all of a sudden we can reaction roll catch him. You can do that in the time it takes him to get up. You can swap to PKCS and reaction roll catch the wake up. Anyway, hope this helps. See y'all.